Good morning and welcome to our webinar today. We're going to be talking about 10 common marketing mistakes, but very importantly, how to avoid them. Businesses of all sizes across the country, different industries, regardless if you're a startup or a larger business, these are common mistakes that can quickly derail any of your marketing efforts. I'm also going to be sharing with you a wide range of tips and resources, how to define your target market, some of the best practices in terms of leveraging your website and digital marketing. Good morning, I'm Victoria Byrne. I'm the founder of Creative Marketing Services, and for over 18 years, our agency has provided a wide range of digital marketing and website development services and brand ID for a wide range of clients, so of all sizes and industries. So again, I'm super excited to share some tips and resources with you today. Our webinar today is hosted by SCORE, and SCORE will be sending you a copy of my presentation slides that you can download and refer back to today. I have been a volunteer for SCORE for over 12 years now, and I'm also a Constant Contact certified solution provider. So I invite you to connect with us at Creative Marketing Services. So today we have a lot of items to get through, but I encourage you to be posting questions specifically in the Q&A box. And I'll be answering questions as we go through our webinar today. And of course, we'll have opportunity to answer questions at the end as well. So we've got a full lineup in just 1 hour. And again, know that SCORE will be sending you a copy of my presentation slides you can download and refer back to. And I highly recommend you take advantage of the amazing resources that SCORE provides. SCORE is such a fantastic organization that provides such a wide range of no-cost services for entrepreneurs and small businesses like yourself. Just like you're attending this webinar, it's available at no cost. They have marketing webinars, business planning, bookkeeping, IT, anything you can think about in terms of business. They offer great webinars, but very importantly, you also have the opportunity to schedule a no-cost mentoring session. SCORE has phenomenal mentors that have real-world industry experience, and they can align you with somebody in your industry. So whether or not you're in retail, in manufacturing, maybe in the restaurant business, or if you're looking to get started. So again, they will be sending you a copy of the presentation slides, and you can click through to their website. I believe they're going to share information in chat as well. And I highly recommend you take advantage of their great resources. So let's go ahead and get started today. We're going to be talking about, again, what are the most common marketing mistakes. So for those of you that joined a little early, we talked about whether or not you're marketing to businesses or consumers, if you're service-based or e-commerce, right? These are across the board applicable, regardless of your size, if you're a startup or a large industry that I see consistently. And so my goal for you today is that you take away these items and you're able to focus on how to avoid them. We're also going to be talking about how to really define your target market. Important aspects of developing your website as the hub and foundation of your digital marketing, and some cost-effective digital marketing tips and resources for you today as well. So I will say across the board, one of the biggest mistakes small businesses make is failing to have a marketing plan. Without a marketing plan, you don't have a roadmap. I see far too often having that solid plan and roadmap that you're going to be referring to, that you're going to be consistently marketing, developing your messaging, developing your products, your services, and being willing to make changes. But without that roadmap, see, too often, businesses are fragmented. They're trying this, trying that, but they don't have a solid plan. So I highly recommend for any business, absolutely, first and foremost, whether or not you're just getting started. If you're a business just getting started, you're going to have a launch strategy, right? And then your ongoing marketing strategy. For those of you that are existing business owners, I highly recommend you revisit your marketing plan every year and really create a defined list of business goals that are going to be trackable and measurable. For example, are you looking to expand into a new market? Maybe increase your market share by 25%, offer new products. What are the specific goals that you have for this year? Develop the written marketing plan. Do your research. One of the biggest mistakes I do see a lot of small businesses is It's hard, you're wearing so many different hats. You've got to take the time to do your competitive research and really keep up to date with what's happening with your competitors as well. And clearly define your target audience. We're going to be talking about this a little bit later. In many cases, businesses have more than one target audience, but the more detailed, the more refined your audience is, the better you can adjust your marketing, your messaging, your visuals to get better results. And of course, you've got to establish your marketing budget. So again, if you have a launch strategy, what's that budget going to be for your new business owners out there? But for otherwise, taking a look at what you're consistently going to be investing in your marketing on a monthly basis. For those of you getting started, you can certainly start with a little bit more of a conservative ad spend, for example, and scale up once you start seeing results. But one of the common questions I do get asked is, how much should I spend, right? What really is that magic number I need to be spending on marketing? Well, it's going to depend on a number of factors. First and foremost, are you marketing to other businesses? Generally speaking, 3 to 5% of your overall revenue. If you're marketing to consumers, it can be certainly more, up to 5 to 10% of your overall revenue. But it also, you need to factor in how quickly you're looking to make growth and adjustments as well. So key before you invest in your marketing is absolutely have that plan, identify exactly what you're going to be doing, what are some initiatives that you're going to be testing and trying, what your budget is, who your market is, and have that in place and be willing to make changes accordingly as you're seeing results throughout the year. A second mistake is, unfortunately, a lot of businesses view marketing as an expense versus an investment. So an expense is something that you buy that depreciates over time, where marketing is an investment that delivers value in your future. So a lot of businesses, we see if business is slow or the economy changes, they're looking to cut expenses. And a mistake is actually cutting your marketing expense, because now you're cutting your opportunity to drive more sales. And it's absolutely imperative that you're investing in your marketing, whether or not you're doing it yourself, you're working with employees, or maybe you're outsourcing part of your marketing. It's really so important, especially if you're taking a look at other opportunities with your target markets. Mistake number 3, focusing on new customers. I hear this all the time, where a lot of businesses are looking at their lead funnel. And of course, that's such an important factor, but don't miss out on having a two-pronged strategy. Prioritize existing customer retention and what you can do to grow business with existing customers, because it's so much more cost effective. You've already won them over. They like your products. Maybe they love your services, right? They have the better chance for you to grow consistently with them at a much lower cost. But of course, we always have to have that pipeline of new leads. We're going to be talking to our new leads a lot differently than we are our existing customers, because you've got to win them over. And really making sure that you're taking a look at automation tools. For example, when new leads are coming to your website, making sure you're giving them an incentive to sign up, and hopefully you're doing email marketing. So for example, if you're a retailer, of course, common discount offer, hey, sign up and get $10 off your first order, right? Get that email address. And now you're going to need to nurture that lead. Send out a series of automated emails to win them over, right? So really take a look at some of these automation tools we'll talk about in a little bit as well. But to further illustrate that point, really take a hard look at what it costs to acquire new customers. For example, acquiring a new customer can cost 5 times more than retaining an existing customer. So if you're looking to stretch your budget, focus on what you can do to drive repeat business with your current customers, their clients. One of the best, most cost-effective ways to do so is through your email marketing efforts. I will say probably across the board, regardless of the size or industry of business we're working with, typically the highest traffic day they get to their website is when they're sending out their regular email campaigns. If you can focus on nurturing that relationship with your existing customers, if you can increase your retention by just 5%, you can increase your profits from 25 to 95%. So now you can see why I'm really focusing on repeat business. Your success rate, the success rate of selling to an existing customer is 60 to 70%. versus the success rate of selling to a lead is between 5 and 20%. So very important, of course, to still have that pipeline to convert new leads, but you're really going to see the most bang for your buck when you prioritize driving more business with your existing customers. Again, if you have any questions, go ahead and post them in the Q&A box. Another common mistake is not investing in digital marketing or not investing more in your digital marketing, because we all know that more business is being conducted online than ever before. So I encourage you to take a look at investing even more in your digital marketing. Benefits, of course, is it's so much more cost effective and you can get trackable, measurable results. Great opportunity to get in front of your audience. So much has changed in regard to search, which we'll talk a little about later. How are customers these days or clients searching for your business? It's no longer just in Google search results, right? They're looking in ChatGPT, they're looking at all sorts of reviews, information. So we're going to talk about that a little bit as well. And with your digital marketing, again, provide very cost-effective and return on investment. So having the right marketing mix, we'll talk about here in a little bit, is very important. It's not just doing one thing. It's not ever just doing, say, email marketing or paid ads. It's finding that right combination of different marketing initiatives that are going to give you the best result. And that's why we're recommending implementing what's called an omni-channel marketing strategy. So let's talk about that here. So an omni-channel marketing strategy is really the seamless integration of branding, messaging, the experience from every single touch point, whether or not they see you on Instagram, on your website, on TikTok, through your email campaigns, and you're establishing that consistency. Again, really taking a hard look at where your target audience is, right? Not all target audiences are on TikTok. A lot of times I see businesses want to get involved in posts on TikTok. That's great, but it's not for all businesses. So that gets back to our point we're going to talk about in a little bit, the importance of really defining your target audience. Where are they at? Where are they most likely to convert, and getting in front of that audience. We absolutely see significantly better results when businesses employ omni-channel marketing strategy. Number 5, common mistake, not making your website a priority. Again, with your digital marketing, where are you driving traffic? You're driving traffic to your website. So you want to make sure your website is the hub, the foundation of your digital marketing. Of course, it's imperative these days that you are found in search with where your audience is looking for you, and that you take the time to be very strategic about your website. We're going to talk a little bit more in a minute about the details of what I'm talking about here, but really making sure your website is designed for your target audience, that's engaging to them, that addresses their needs. In other words, when somebody first visits your website, you almost have to assume they've never heard of your company before, right? Take a look at how you're positioning yourself, who you are, what you do, how can you benefit them? Because people make a snap decision. And when I say a snap decision, it's within a second or two. Are they going to stay on your website? Do they want to learn more? Are they interested? Or are they going to leave and have you lost them? Taking a look at other tools to help convert visitors, because not everybody's going to sign up for your services or buy today. And so today we're going to talk about some of the initial other tools that we recommend incorporating in your website so you can capture their email addresses and convert more leads through some automation tools. And of course, looking at ways that you want to drive repeat visits. So just like we were talking a few minutes ago about the importance of focusing on driving more sales with repeat customers, you also want to have a strategy for your website to drive repeat visits to your website, not just the first-time visitors as well. Yes, again, if you have questions, please post them in the Q&A box, and SCORE will be sending you copies of my presentation slides so you can download and refer back to. Absolutely. Now, this one you can probably relate to, right? Being impatient, expecting immediate results. While digital marketing can produce very great results in a short period of time, you also have to set proper expectations for yourself. So for example, if you're looking at getting found in search results or SEO, when people are searching for your products or services, That can be one of the best returns on investments you have because you're not paying for ads. But just know that's going to take time. That is not going to happen overnight. And it's something that you need to do on a consistent basis to earn your way up in the Google rankings or get found in AI overviews or in ChatGPT answers. So that's something that, again, highly recommend all businesses do because, of course, your website's got to be found these days. But just know that you've got to have consistency when it comes to search. It could easily take 3-6 months or more to really start seeing results from it. It's going to depend on your industry and how competitive your industry is, of course. So for many businesses, while they're investing in the SEO and that's taking some time to kick in and they're increasing and getting found in the rankings, take a look at running paid ads. You can do paid ads, of course, as you probably know, through any of your social channels, through Google Ads. And running paid ads can provide a much quicker initial response and results compared to SEO, but it also doesn't happen overnight. Once you get your ads up and running, now you're going to be, say if you're running ads with Google, you're going to be at the top of the search results, but you've got to test, try new offers, new messaging, your target audience, but essentially going through that learning period. Once you start seeing your results, then that's when you know what's working. You're going to increase your budget to get even better results. So that can provide a much quicker response than SEO, for example. And as I was just talking about, there is a learning period for any of your paid ads. You know, you launch your ad, but you've got to be doing that testing to see what's really working, what's not, making changes. Typically, you know, within a 30-45 day period, then you're really going to see what's really hitting and resonating with your audience, and most importantly, driving results. That's the time to increase your budget. I will say one of the big mistakes I do see a lot of businesses make is they're wasting ad spend when they first launch their ads. I highly recommend when you first launch your paid ads to be a little bit more conservative on your budget. So for example, if you're running Google ads, start with a budget of 500 to 750 or 1,000. Test and see what's working. Once you start seeing what's actually driving results, that's the time to increase your budget. If you're running social media ads, maybe you're going to start 300 to 500. Again, do your testing, refining your results, and then that's the time to increase your budget. So you're not wasting ad spend during that learning period. The other key factor to consider is absolutely consistency is key. So as I was just saying with search and the work you put into getting found in search results and say AI overviews, it's not a one-time thing. You've got to be patient and you've got to consistently be doing those initiatives on a regular monthly basis. Where we see businesses thrive and absolutely drive best results are ones that are being proactive. Again, they're testing different messaging for their ads, different creative, taking a good look at their results and making proactive changes accordingly. Now, this one is also commonly overlooked. Just copying what your competition is doing. It's really important that you focus on standing out from the crowd. And what is your value proposition or unique selling proposition that really resonates with your audience? It's going to say, why should you do business with you versus your competition? Also, try really taking a look at where you're marketing versus where your competition is marketing. So for example, if you're running paid ads, of course, Google Ads tends to be, you know, one of the top choices, but you might be in a very highly competitive market where there's opportunities on other resources. Believe it or not, Bing, right, is another opportunity. Bing doesn't have nearly the volume of search that Google has, but it's also tends to be a lot less competitive. So there are other resources, other places that you can look at advertising where your competition is not as well. And one of the nice things about running any kind of paid ads, whether or not you're running, you know, YouTube ads or Google ads, even social media ads, you can certainly target your competition's audience. So it's really making sure that you're taking a good look at your opportunities of where you're going to be able to drive that best return on investment. This is another common mistake, is not utilizing the data or not really taking a hard look or understanding all of the metrics that come from any of your digital marketing, because without it, you're truly flying blind. Again, where we see companies really thrive is when they're looking at their data, they understand what it means, and they can make adjustments accordingly. So let me give you an example. If you're running paid social media ads and Google ads, it's a good opportunity to test which one is going to provide better conversions. Traditionally, it's going to be more cost effective to run your ads on social media in terms of a cost per click to get somebody to your website. But you might find that it doesn't convert nearly as well as Google ads. Google ads might cost you more, but it could provide a better return on investment. So taking a look at your Google Analytics. Google Analytics is what you're going to make sure you have connected to your website so that you can see exactly how much traffic is coming to your site from your paid social media, from your Instagram ads, from your SEO or email, all your different marketing channels. And the important thing is not only just taking a look at how much traffic, of course, is being driven by each of those channels, but ultimately what's driving the sales. You know, for a lot of companies, we see that social media can be great for brand awareness and getting traffic to the site, but it doesn't tend to convert nearly as much as, say, email, search, or Google ads as well. So the nice thing with digital marketing is pretty much any of your digital marketing initiatives, you're going to be able to track the results. So what I recommend, at the bare minimum, take time out, mark it on your calendar once a month, and really take a hard look at all of your metrics to see really what's working, what's not, and opportunities you can make adjustments to really drive your best return on investment. If you are e-commerce, I do recommend, of course, that you're taking a look at your initiatives and your tracking on a more frequent basis. But bare minimum, take that time out at least once a month. If you're not familiar with Google Analytics, SCORE has great webinars on Google Analytics. So again, you don't want to be flying blind, especially when it comes to your website, because it's not just how much traffic's coming, how long people are spending, where do they come from, but very importantly, is your traffic converting? And you can see by channel. So again, how much of your traffic is coming to your site from email, search, paid ads, any of your initiatives, and really take a look at, is it converting? Are people signing up? Are they signing up for a lead generation form, a schedule a consultation, or even purchasing a product? So for those of you that missed at the very beginning of our session today, I highly recommend you take advantage of free resources, just like SCORE, who is the host of our webinar today. Again, you're able to come to this webinar at no cost because SCORE is providing the service for you. And SCORE has an amazing lineup of webinars each and every week, from business planning to marketing to strategies, bookkeeping, QuickBooks, you know, any of your initiatives. They offer no cost mentoring. So again, they will be sending you a copy of my presentation slides that you can download and refer back to, and you'll have the opportunity, and I highly encourage you to take advantage of booking a no cost mentoring session with them. And the SBA, Small Business Administration session, also offers a wide range of services. For those of you who are startups, they both have great resources as well. So don't overlook those great opportunities to get those resources at no cost. Now, this item is not necessarily for every business, but if you're looking to expand your market, you might want to take a look at multicultural audiences. So for example, the US has 130 million multicultural consumers. It's a great opportunity to expand your audience. But one thing I really need to specify is that your ads, your messaging need to reflect their culture. We're not just going to say, I'm going to start marketing to Hispanic community and I'm going to use Google Translate, you know, for all of my messaging. That's not what we're talking about. You really want to make sure that you have, if you're going to be doing marketing in a different language, that you really are not relying on automation in terms of the translation, making sure that that is authentic, and consider the different cultural implications as well. Do your research, and the key is you've got to commit to consistency. It's not like we're going to try a new ad campaign for a different audience for 1 month and then give up, right? It is going to take some consistency. So for example, the Hispanic market, Hispanics are more likely to spend about 52 hours per week on their smartphones. which is 8 hours more than a non-Hispanic market. So that's going to be your kind of key, that you're going to focus more on mobile marketing. 26 million Hispanic social media users. They are more likely to like, comment, and share purchases from social media. And 21% compared to 7.5% of all audiences wrote a review on a purchase from social media, blog, or forum. So again, it's not anything for every business, but it is an opportunity to expand your audience. So now we're also going to talk about the importance of having a well-defined target market. So hopefully any of those key marketing mistakes that we just talked about, you're not using, but making sure probably the best recommendation I have for you in terms of all of those items I just shared is, again, goes back to item number one, making sure that you have that solid roadmap and that written marketing plan. And part of that is including a well-defined target audience. So one of the challenges that I see is I speak to tens of thousands of small businesses every year, and I ask them, what is your target market? And they say, anyone interested in my services. Well, that's not what we're talking about. That is not a target market. It's very important that you take the time to really define your target market. So let's show some examples today of an audience that's too broad. For example, Orange County residents. Okay, well, are they renters? Are they owners? Working moms. Are they working moms of preschool, college students? Are they small business owners? Right? These are too broad. You want to really break it down. So let me give you an example of exactly what I'm talking about. Say you were an interior design firm and you want to define your target market. So let's get specific. It's not just residents in Orange County, it's homeowners in Orange County. They are between the ages of 35 and 55 with a household income of over 200,000. Their audience is interested in kitchen and bath remodel, and they like traditional designs because that is what they specialize in. So don't break your target audience down too far, because know that you can absolutely have a couple of different target audiences. The key is you're going to market to them a little bit differently. Many businesses we work with certainly have two different audiences. For example, a lot of businesses will market to the trade because they're more of a distributor, but they also make their products available for public sale on their website for consumers. So that means with those two different audiences, they're going to have two different strategies and how they market to them. So taking the time, really think about how you can create a persona for your target audience, because the more clearly defined your target audience is, you're able to now target the messaging accordingly, your visuals, your messaging, and even give them a name, right? Sally Smith, she's preschool, has kids in preschool. She's a soccer mom. She enjoys arts and crafts. Here's where she lives. Kind of give that persona. It's a little bit easier sometimes to market to them. So I wanted to highlight today ways that you can really define your target audience. So for example, for those of you that are existing business owners, take the time to review your current customers. Who are they? Why are they doing business with you? Are there any commonalities? Which ones are most profitable for you? Because maybe you can make your adjustments to focus on more of that type of audience. Another common mistake I see is that business owners are not engaging with their audience and their clients enough in terms of getting feedback. So bare minimum once, even twice a year, survey your audience, right? Take the time to really show them that you appreciate their feedback, their insight. You can pull them about new products or services. Just make sure you're keeping your surveys brief, 5 to 10 questions. This is not like a 100 questionnaire. People aren't going to take the time to do so. You can certainly offer an incentive for them. And there's a lot of really easy to use online surveys. SurveyMonkey is a good one to try as well. Also, so important that you understand where you are positioned in the market compared to your competitors. So who are they targeting? Really focus on creating your own niche. What can you do to stand out for them? Why should you be doing business with you versus your competition? Incorporating that in your messaging. Take the time to analyze your products and services so that you can really focus again on appealing to your target audiences, highlighting the features, the benefits, any value add. Identify specific demographics as well, right? So we can start getting down to a little bit more details. And also consider psychographics, their values, their interests. So I can tell you the more that you're able to define your target audience, the better you can adjust and adapt your marketing to get better results. Now let's talk about the importance of optimizing your website. As we talked about a little bit earlier, the website is the hub. It should be the foundation of your digital marketing, because too often I see businesses are investing in a variety of different marketing initiatives and they're driving traffic to their website, but unfortunately it's not connecting with their audience. As I mentioned earlier, these days visitors will make a snap decision. Are they interested in what you have to offer, your products, your services? Do they want to learn more, or are they going to leave quickly? And again, that's another reason why it's so important to have tools like Google Analytics in place on your website to see how long people are spending on your website. Many times we're finding that when we're doing an evaluation for a business, we've actually told them, hold off on your marketing. You need to update your website first, because people, there's a disconnect. When they're first coming to your website, they're leaving. They're not staying. They're not going to other pages on your website. And you're really wasting a lot of time and money and energy with all of your marketing initiatives that are driving traffic to your site, because ultimately there's a disconnect and it's not happening there. So with your website these days, it's very important to consider it as an investment. It's not just setting up your website once and kind of hoping for the best at all. You absolutely need to have a strategy for your website. So I encourage you to take a look at your website. Give yourself a self-critique. How often are people coming to your website? Are you seeing traffic increase? Really analyze your results. Take a look at your Google Analytics. Again, if you don't have that already in place, Google Analytics is absolutely free, and get that in place today. Top priority. So you're not flying blind. Are you seeing that traffic has increased or decreased in the last 5 or 6 months, right? Where are your channels coming from? For those of you that have e-commerce, really making sure that you're conducting an audit on a regular basis and making it as easy as possible, of course, for people to check out. The longer your checkout process, the higher you have the probability of somebody abandoning your cart and not checking out. If they're interested enough to add the item to the cart, you really want to make sure that you're streamlining that process. I teach webinars just on websites and e-commerce, but one of the things to really keep in mind is that's absolutely one of the drivers to why people will abandon your cart. I just saw a website that literally had 12 different checkout screens to get through the process, and they had like a 95% drop-off rate, right? So if you can streamline the process to just a few clicks for checkout, you're going to see better results. With Google Analytics, taking a look at the breakdown of how traffic is coming to your site by your channel. So as I mentioned earlier, if you have Google Analytics set up, you can take a look at how much traffic is being generated from my email efforts, from getting found in search, from paid ads, organic social media, any of your different channels, and take a look at making sure that you have event tracking in place, because that is going to give you a conversion metric. So not only are we looking at how much traffic each of these channels is generating for you, but how much of it is actually converting in either to a sale, a call, a lead sign-up form. So you can see which of your social media or your email efforts are paying off the most, but really making sure that you're making adjustments accordingly. I was just looking at an evaluation of a company, and by far their highest traffic coming to the website was from their organic social media, which is fantastic. However, when you look at the conversion rate, it literally left 0 in sales. But what was driving traffic for them? Their organic search and their email. So that would be a prime example of really evaluating what you're doing from an organic social media perspective, but take a look at adjusting those resources and putting it in more email marketing, more into search. That's absolutely driving results. Another common question I get asked all the time is, how often should I update my website? Well, updating your website, certainly at least monthly. The more often the better is what I can tell you, because especially in today's environment, you want to make sure that you're doing everything you can to be found in search. One of the best ways to do so is putting up new content on your website on a regular basis that's been optimized for search, that you're incorporating your keywords, for example. And having a blog is a fantastic way to do so. So for a lot of businesses, having a blog on their website, having a couple of articles a month that they're posting can absolutely help make a measurable impact on getting found in search. Depending on how competitive your industry is, some businesses do 4 blogs or more, but it doesn't have to be a blog. It can be a landing page, it can be a case study, or anything about testimonials. Also, keep in mind what we were talking about earlier is think of that value add that you have on your website that you're encouraging repeat visits as well. Also, very importantly, as I've been saying throughout today's presentation, the importance of testing and trying new messaging, testing and trying new visuals, but you want to make sure that you have tracking in place. You can really see, again, what's working, what's generating interest and or converting to leads as well. So take a hard look at your website. Does it really reflect your brand and how you want to be positioned today? Or do you need to make some changes? Sometimes just making a few simple updates, a little refresh, making sure that you're really addressing the needs of your audience. Or a lot of businesses are actually taking the step of investing in a new website because it is absolutely fundamental to driving more business for them from digital marketing. So as I mentioned a few minutes ago, I teach a wide range of webinars for SCORE, including on website optimization and search. But today, I just wanted to highlight a couple of best practices for your website. So it kind of goes without saying, you want to provide the best user experience, really making sure that you are addressing the needs, captivating your audience, having interactive features, but you want to make sure that you're very strategic about, especially your homepage. Your homepage, if your website is really going to typically get the most visits, right? People come to your website first on the homepage, and then they'll navigate to other pages. So making sure that your most valuable real estate has your key messaging. So when I talk about your most valuable real estate, that's when you first pull up your website on laptop, desktop, mobile. What appears, what messaging and visuals appear before you start scrolling. So think about prioritizing your messaging from the top down. You also want to keep in mind there's 2 different types of visitors. Some visitors are going to go straight to the navigation bar, while others are browsers. So keep your navigation very simple. Don't do it more than 6 or 8 tabs because you can have drop-down tabs, but also incorporate key calls to actions, key visuals that are getting people deeper within your website to spend more time and driving them to where you want them to go. The more time, the more engagement people have with your website, the better chance they have to get a conversion. And when we're talking about a conversion, I'm talking about somebody taking action. They're making that sale with you, they're filling out a lead form, they're calling you. And of course, these days, also very important, you've got to have a fast loading website. So if your website is taking longer than 2 to 3 seconds to load, believe it or not, you need to take action because every second after that, you're losing visitors. So if your website is slow loading, the first thing I would recommend is contacting your hosting company, your website hosting company, or certainly if you're working with the developer to see what they can do to increase that site speed. Very important, again, designing your site for your target audience, having a clear and concise positioning statement. So like we've been talking about who you are, what you do, how can you benefit? What are some reasons why they should go with you versus keep doing research with other companies? How do you really want to position yourself? So making sure that you have great visuals, subheadlines, bullet points, not a ton of content that's all jammed into a big paragraph, right? To really guide your audience to have a best experience. Of course, another key element for success is having a strong call to action. I recently saw a survey that indicated that about 80% of small business websites were lacking a strong call to action. So think about what it is you want your visitor to do when they come to your website. Here's a great example of virtual construction education. They offer online education courses. So right at the very top of their website, they click register now. They also have register now in the header. Having your call to action in the header is fantastic because now it appears at the top of every page, desktop and mobile. And be consistent. a common mistake I do see is that businesses will have too many different calls to action, right? You want to keep it simple. And if you're not seeing the results, you've got to be willing to test and try new messaging, making sure, of course, that key call to action is before visitors start scrolling on their website. Now, this is an important factor as well. We don't want to have generic looking websites that just have your logo slapped on them, because generic websites are not going to produce results. Really take a hard look at how you can represent your brand by bringing it to life with your visuals, your messaging, the tone of how you're communicating, your persona. So here's a great example of that. By first glance, looking at this website or landing page, you might not be surprised to learn that their target audience are rugged men, barbecue enthusiasts over the age of 45. Does that make a connection for you? Right. So doesn't work for this particular example, of course, wouldn't apply to every business, not like a CPA, but really take a look again at how you can stand out from your competition and really engage your audience by bringing that brand to life. For any business, I don't care if you're just getting started or if you're established, email marketing is a key component for success. It's one of the best returns on investments. And keep in mind that not every visitor who comes to your website for the first time is going to sign up for your products or services. On average, it takes about 6 or 7 different touch points to get a conversion. And people are going to do research. They're going to check out you versus your competition. But here's a great example of a doggy daycare, and they're offering a first day for free if you sign up for their emails, no obligations. What a great incentive for people to be able to take advantage of that. Why not? I can sign up. They integrate their website with their email service provider like Constant Contact or MailChimp, and they have an automated email that goes out welcoming the new subscriber and encouraging them to take advantage of their offer. The benefit, of course, is now this is working on your website 24/7. You're building a quality email address of people who want to hear from you, and you can market to them in the future. I highly encourage you, when we see best results, to do a series of automated emails, not just the first one that goes out, but do a second one, maybe 3 days later, a third one, really showing some of your best points behind the scenes, sharing reviews. Again, doing those automation tools to really help get those conversions for you. And of course, e-commerce. As I mentioned, I teach a wide range of webinars for SCORE, including e-commerce, but common mistake I see is not clearly displaying pricing and shipping, because one of the top reasons why people will abandon a cart too is because of surprises. If there's a huge shipping cost at the end or additional cost, take a look at how you can show your products and actions in a video, right? And of course, enable your reviews and related products. Now, how many of you are incorporating video in part of your digital marketing? Go ahead and post in chat. If you're not, I highly recommend making it a priority, not only for your website, but all your digital marketing, because that's where we're seeing best results. People are absolutely seeing great results when it comes to incorporating video. And the nice thing about these days with AI and all the amazing tools that are out there, you can create great quality videos for your business. In fact, SCORE teaches webinars just on those topics. You can check out their full lineup of webinars of how to create a video for your business. Having a video on your homepage of your website, what a great way to have a personalized message to your site visitors to really showcase your products or your services in a very unique way and welcoming those visitors with a call to action. Having a video on your website can absolutely significantly increase your conversions and get more sales and leads. With your video on your website, you can do a little bit of a longer video than you do on social. For example, 30 seconds, 45 seconds on your website. Where we see best results through your digital marketing, through your ads or your organic social post, is keeping your video less than 30 seconds, typically about 15 seconds as well. To keep in mind is when people are on your website and they watch a video, they definitely have a higher retention and are more likely to come back to your site as well. And just like we talked about the importance of email marketing, one of the things that I highly recommend is creating dynamic pop-up forms. So you can have an email sign-up link on your website, but if you're looking for better results, we see about 180% higher signups when using opt-in forms that pop up. So an example, a great resource for that is called Opt-in Monster. So for example, when I'm first visiting a website, as a new visitor, it will pop up, create the wow factor, receive tips and resources. Once they subscribe, you connect that to your website, to your email service provider, and it's sending you automated emails. Very importantly, a lot of this is very common for e-commerce, but not necessarily for service businesses. We see great results by doing what's called an exit intent form. So now on certain pages of your website, you can actually trigger a form that will appear when a visitor goes to leave your website. Wait before you leave. Did you schedule your consultation? The combination of the opt-in and the exit intent form can have a measurable impact on driving more business for you. Now, of course, taking a look at Google Analytics, which we talked about today. If you don't have it on your website, get it in place as soon as possible. It's absolutely free. You want to make sure you set up your conversion or your event tracking as well, but really take a hard look at that data on a regular basis, every 30 days. So you can really measure and see what's working and where you may need to make some changes. And then lastly today, I wanted to share some very cost-effective digital marketing initiatives to take a look at. As you can tell, I'm a huge fan of email marketing because I know it works, and it is absolutely one of the best cost-effective returns on investments. For every dollar you spend on email marketing, there's an average $36 return on investment. It's such a great way. You're going to need to set up an account with an email service provider like Constant Contact, for example, but it's so cost effective and it's very easy to be able to create and send professional looking emails and get the detailed reporting as well. I highly recommend you are sending at least, bare minimum, at least one email per month, but you really want to take a look at other opportunities for segmentation as well. And really take advantage of those automation tools, just like those examples I shared when a visitor comes to your website and signs up for emails, and now you have an automated series to go out to them. That's just one of the examples of automations. Social media, of course, important to be seen on social media, great opportunity to build an online community. But one of the things to keep in mind as you're looking at your overall marketing mix, as we talked about, it's not just one thing. You're going to be doing email, social, search, whatever that combination is for you, is also take a look at what your potential reach is. For example, we see a much better return on investment on email marketing than organic social. So organic social means you're posting, but you're not paying to get more visits. You're not paying ads or boosting posts. So typically with social media, when you are posting organically, you're seeing about a 2 to 6% of reach of your total audience. So if you really want to see results from social media, I highly recommend you invest in boosting posts to get more visibility, promoting posts, or certainly running ads as well, which are very affordable. One of the biggest differences when we're talking about ads, social media versus Google Ads. So Google Ads, you're being seen for the keyword phrase somebody is searching for at that time. You're at the top of the search results. Social media ads, one of the things to keep in mind, it's more of a brand awareness. So they're not necessarily searching for your products or services. You can certainly create a very targeted audience of who you want your ads to be seen in their newsfeed, but they're not necessarily searching for your target audience. Now, when it comes to search, there's so much that's changed, and I highly encourage you to check out our upcoming webinars on search. Search engine optimization, great opportunity to target quality traffic so you can get to that conversion. You're not paying for ads, but it is, as I mentioned earlier, absolutely a long-term strategy. This is not something that happens overnight. It starts with doing your research, finding the proper keywords you want to focus on. By the way, making sure those keywords are transactional. They're not just the informational type of keywords because you're not going to see much conversions on those. Doing your on-site search engine optimization, and then consistently every single month posting new content that's been properly optimized, obtaining backlinks. 75% of website visitors do not go past page 1 of Google search. And it's probably what you experienced yourself. Think about the last time you did a Google search. Did you really go past page 1? Probably not, but it takes time to earn your way up to that. And these days, you also need to make an adjustment because search is no longer just about SEO. It's about GEO, AEO, right? So in other words, helping you get found in the AI overviews on Google search, get found in things like ChatGPT, and I encourage you to really make sure that you're shifting your strategy so that you're not left behind on that. Again, today's webinar, we don't have time to go into that level of detail, but I encourage you to check out some of our upcoming webinars on search and all the things that are changing for that as well. And as we've talked about with Google Ads, not for every business, but especially if you're looking to ramp up more sales and leads, take a look at running ads with Google. Again, it's based on the search, the keyword phrases that people are typing in, you would appear at the top of the search results. And highly recommend, especially if you have video, that you're also doing YouTube ads. So Google ads are known as pay per click or PPC. So in other words, you're not being charged unless somebody clicks on your ad, it goes to your website. I highly recommend you do the research up front to really see what the average cost is going to be per click. And also think about what is the cost of acquisition. In other words, what is it going to cost if you got 100 leads per month and you converted 2 and you spent 5,000, that's not going to be a good cost per acquisition. So really take a hard look at, is that a right fit for you? When it comes to managing paid ads such as Google and social media, if you're not intimately familiar with all of the nuances of what goes into that and daily management to drive best results, I would recommend working with an agency or a professional because you don't want to be learning while you're spending money on ad spend. With any of your paid ads, as I mentioned earlier, start with a more conservative budget when you're launching your ads. Test, refine, get through that initial learn period, and then once you see results, increase. So typically for Google Ads, and again, I'm going to give it a broad range, we see starting with $750, maybe to $1,000. With social media ads, you don't have to spend as much, maybe $500. But again, test and see, are the Google ads or the social media ads driving best conversions for you? What's driving the most return on investment? The nice thing with Google Ads is you're able to really set your daily budget. So you know you're not going to exceed that. But for a lot of businesses, where we see is once they start investing in their search efforts and they're getting business as a direct correlation to their search, they're scaling back or maybe eliminating their Google Ads altogether, because who wants to always have that consistent ad bill every month? So as a summary, some key tips for success. As I share with you today, focus on customer retention. What can you do to very easily drive repeat visit with your existing customers? We demonstrated how much more cost effective it is. Email marketing is one of the drivers that I would highly recommend to use that. Of course, you've got to prioritize your lead generation as well, but put more of an emphasis on your repeat visits. Build your brand with storytelling. Really look at ways that you can stand out from the crowd and your competition through your storytelling. Behind the scenes, highlighting customers, your employees, all sorts of great insights you can be sharing as well across all of your digital marketing. Also taking the opportunity to personalize your marketing. So for example, we're not just talking about an email campaign that has your audience's name, but personalize it based on their experience. So for example, if they've clicked on a particular service, you can segment that. So now you are able to follow up with those individuals who just were interested in that service, would be an example of that. We talked about today the importance of incorporating video. If you're not incorporating video in your marketing, now is the time to really consider that. Again, check out the lineup of video webinars offered by SCORE that you can create your own videos for your business. And keeping your website up to date. We talked about the importance of keeping your website up to date to not only help you in search results by putting up new content, by having that new content on your website now, it also is content you can share across all your digital channels. And lastly, you've got to be taking a look at your metrics, testing and trying new initiatives, new channels, new messaging to really drive best results. And lastly, you can't be afraid to try something new. Today's environment is ever changing. So really take advantage of identifying a couple of initiatives that maybe you haven't tried before. For example, we just talked about the video marketing, or maybe you're going to really start investing in your search. Really identify those. So as we're wrapping up here in our few minutes left, we're going to go ahead and turn it over to questions. Again, if you have questions, post it in the Q&A box. In the meantime, I invite you to connect with us at Creative Marketing Services. And again, SCORE will be sending you a copy of the presentation. And if you wanted to learn more about the webinars that we offer for SCORE, you can scan the QR code and some of our upcoming webinars that I have with SCORE. If you want to learn more about WordPress, WordPress is one of the most popular website platforms. I have a dedicated webinar that we're going to be talking about plugins and all the ways that you can customize your WordPress website on May 29th. And on June 12th, for those of you that are doing email marketing, I'm going to be doing a dedicated session on how to get more from your email list, right? To really mine that list, to do some great segmentation, to making sure you're maximizing your opportunities to drive business with your email marketing efforts. Let's see, let's go ahead and turn it over to questions here. In terms of looking to get sales before the end of the year, what's the best tactic to focus on? Well, that's a good question. Need to know a little bit more in terms of what your business is, but ultimately taking a look at, first and foremost, having your website be optimized for your target audience. And then what are you doing to drive that quality traffic to your website? If you're just getting started, for example, a good opportunity would be to look at running some paid ads, because you're going to see a better, quicker opportunity to drive business than some of these other longer initiatives such as search. So that would definitely be something I would encourage you. Also, if you don't already have email marketing set up, have that in place so that when you are driving paid traffic to your website, you have maybe one of those dynamic pop-up forms that is kind of incentivizing people to sign up for your emails, an offer that's going to be of value to them. So that way, when you are investing in paid, you have at least the opportunity to capture their email address when they're coming to your website, if they're not going to make a conversion that very first visit. So those would be some key things I would explore as well. And also taking a look at building out that automated series. So really, if you're investing in driving any traffic to your website, it's really kind of a fundamental for any business that you have these types of automations in place with email marketing and also those dynamic pop-up forms. Consider an exit intent form, like I shared as well, because having that combination of the opt-in form, the exit intent form, and integration with your email marketing absolutely can be a game changer in terms of getting more conversions from your website, especially when you're already driving quality traffic to your site as well. In terms of kind of where businesses should start, if you're just getting started, first and foremost, it really comes back to having that marketing strategy and plan and really identifying your unique selling proposition, identifying your competitors, your target audience, and having that plan in place. You've got to start with that foundation of your website, but then take a look at what are some of those other initiatives. For startups, I highly recommend, you're not going to be surprised when I say email marketing. Start investing in your search, because the sooner you start investing in your search efforts, the quicker you're going to start seeing results. And then consider, of course, a paid ad platform, whether or not it's Google or some of your social media channels as well. So you can start driving some more immediate traffic and visibility to your website. Also, if you are just getting started and maybe you don't even have, much of a database, one of the things you might consider doing, and we see great results from this, is running a sweepstakes on social media. I say that with the disclaimer, you always have to check your local state and regulations in any of your social media platforms. But say, for example, you are just getting started and you have no traffic to your website. Start building up your presence on social media, do a sweepstakes, enter to win. Have the prize tied to your business, right? We're not just giving away an iPhone and you offer appliances, right? So tie it to your business and make it crystal clear that part of the details are that if you sign up for Enter to Win sweepstakes, you are opting in to receive their emails. Now, boost that post, run ads on that, and get visibility. You're building brand awareness for your business. You're building a solid email database. And now you can market to businesses as well. All right, let's see if there's any final questions. Go ahead and post them in the Q&A. And again, SCORE will be sending you a copy of the presentation, and I highly, highly recommend take advantage of the full lineup of webinars and book yourself that mentoring session at no cost. So thank you so much for attending today. We look forward to seeing you at a future webinar, and have a fantastic holiday weekend.
Thank you so much. Have a great holiday weekend too. Thanks.